Yo, welcome back to another episode of A Drunken Night Out. I'm Ken Hamley, your host, and I'm sitting here with a comic, Matt MacLean, who I just did your show. It was fucking dope.
Yeah, that was a great time.
Also a super dope space. I just got to tell you that. I don't think I said that night,
thanks.
but yeah, super fun room. What was it, 2 weeks notice? I don't remember the venue. What was the venue?
Low Res Brewing, down in Pilsen neighborhood of Chicago. Yeah, okay. So it's a fairly young brewery, but it's a cool spot.
Okay. How long have you guys been doing that show?
Just over a year. Yeah.
Oh, dope.
So it's just like the show is basically a storytelling type show where comics come on and just tell all their like awful job stories and material, and then we like ask them questions afterwards to get to know them a little bit more. And it's at a brewery, so everyone's drinking, and it's usually a pretty good time.
Yeah. It was definitely a good time. Man. After your show, there were two couples, and I ended up going to a random Mexican restaurant with them.
Did you really? You hung out afterwards?
Oh, man. It was so late. I got home at like 2 a.m. I was like,
oh, my God.
Oh, wow. Why did I do this? It's a fun time. So definitely go check that out. Have you guys been at that location for the entire year?
The whole time there. We just switched to Thursdays, which I guess makes it easier to do stuff like that. We were on Sundays, and I feel like people wouldn't hang out as much, and now I think Thursday's a little livelier.
Hell yeah. So chance to like really gas yourself up, tell the people where they can find you, talk about any cool shows, which we just did that part. Anything that you have coming up, any shows, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's see, I think you can find all my recent dates for this month at goodonemaddie.com, GOOD1ONE Maddie.com. And I also run a weekly show at Logan Square Improv in Chicago every Friday, stand-up show at 7. That's just a regular stand-up show. So, hopefully get you on that one soon, too. That's a fun one. Nice, tight spot, like small black box theater. So,
Okay, man. So let's fucking get to the meat and potatoes of the podcast. The first time, so the way it works, we talk about the first time you ever got drunk, or the first time you attempted to get drunk. So we start there. So if you have a funny attempt story, there's been some pretty funny attempt stories. Never got drunk but tried to, or there's been some wild first time getting drunk stories. So
yeah, first time getting drunk. This is a pretty vivid one because it was like a big to-do. Like we were really careful about it. Like I grew up in northern Minnesota and in Duluth, Minnesota, and so like everyone has cabins up there. Like that's just everyone's like has a place on the lake, or at least my family didn't, but I had friends that did. That's the key. You gotta have the rich friends that have the cabins. And so we were like planning it forever. Like, okay, so and so's parents are gonna be out of town. We're all gonna like go up there for the weekend and like just try to find some booze in like their liquor cabinet or something. And like so we were staying overnight there.
How old were you guys?
This was maybe 15, maybe 14.
That's a respectable age. We've had some young starts on this podcast. Okay, some 11s and stuff.
Oh boy, we waited a little bit. At least.
Let yourself mature a little bit. Let your liver actually develop.
The addiction center of your brain isn't firing yet, so
so you're safe.
So we found like liquor in the parents' like cabin. We were staying in the bunkhouse that was attached to it, and all we could find was like a little bit of gin, like half a bottle of triple sec, and like I think might have been it. It was just like gin and triple sec, and so we didn't really know like how to drink it all, so we just lined up a bunch of paper Dixie cups and just poured it out equally. And so we're like, okay, everyone just gets equal parts. Everyone take your like 3 triple secs and your 2 gins. And we just took them all at once. So everyone took like 5 shots immediately.
That's a safe bet.
Yeah. Just like, this is how you do it, right? This is what you do. And everyone threw up. Like everyone was like throwing, and like we had 8 hot dogs before. So I remember just these like half hot dogs coming out of people's mouths, like all over the carpet. And actually, I think I did not puke. I was the one that did not puke. So I was like, that was a good drinking start for me.
Yeah. You were looking around like, what's wrong? Pussies.
And then I was like the dad being like vacuuming up people's puke as they puked. And then the reason I remember those hot dogs too is because like 2 years later, we were like sleeping in that bunkhouse again at a different party. And we were like, changed the vacuum bag out to vacuum the next day. And the vacuum bag was the same one. with freaking gross. And the hot dogs, of course, were like not decomposed at all, just like this solid hot dog.
Like I think it's better that we threw that up.
yeah. It's in our system.
Oh, that's fucking gross.
Yeah, it was real nasty.
Oh man. So are those friends that you had that you threw up with? Are you still friends with those guys now?
Yeah, still friends with a lot of them. So every time I go back, we try to do some kind of fishing trip or something like that, and
Pull out the old gin and triple sec.
well, every time, just work our way through a bottle of triple sex, no mixer.
Oh man.
And yeah, we had some good times up the lake houses there. Being like that was some of like the most fun drinking I think I've done is like that cabin high school drinking when you're just like you're kind of trying to be quiet about it and you're trying to like avoid getting the sheriff called on you and it's just like this secret thing and like you just get the whole school to like come up to the cabin and you're like not quiet at all, like for sure the whole lake knows what's
everybody
going on.
knows you're up there. It's like fireworks going off and stuff. Like, you guys think anybody knows?
Seriously, what we would have fireworks like all and you're like, what were we thinking where this would be clandestine at all?
You're like, nobody cares, I think. They just don't want you guys to die up there. That's the only thing. Like,
that one, they're all just like, well, we hope they're being safe with their boozing up there. It's getting cold.
Right. Oh man. Damn. That's an excellent first drinking story and a weird vacuum story also. All in there. All right. I'm trying to make sure I do this new segment all the time.
Okay.
So if you could make a drink, what would be in that drink? And what would you name it? Why?
Ooh, if I could make a drink.
This is your signature drink.
Man. I mean,
And it can be anything. Like, you can put weed in there, LSD. Like, we've had some weird stuff. Yeah. So whatever you want to put in there.
Just like so here's what I think is my favorite substances now are psychedelics. I think
I pegged you as a psychedelic guy.
Yeah.
I definitely did.
And I think so. It's like magic mushrooms already decriminalized in Denver. I feel like they're kind of the start of like a lot of the like weeds legal there, and like look how it just blew up in the last 3 years, 5 years, whatever it's been.
Yeah,
I think magic mushrooms are nipping at the heels of weed. Like I think like in 5 years we're gonna think it's insane that we weren't all doing mushrooms all the time. I think there's gonna be bars that have like mushroom tea drinks, and like stuff like that. So I'm like. And yeah, just I don't know. If you haven't done mushrooms, like it's not. This is a PSA for everyone to do mushrooms now.
It came like a TED talk on mushrooms. You're like, well, actually, I have all these talking points of mushrooms. I'm glad that you asked.
But it's like it's what I think I want every time I go out because like it makes me more sociable. Like if you just do a small dose of it, like it makes you more social. Makes me like has that inhibition decreasing thing like booze does. And then I never get hungover from it. So I'm like, what is the downside of this?
Yeah,
this
it
is
sounds like it's all great.
The best.
Can you
thing.
OD on mushrooms?
No, you can't OD. There's been 0 recorded deaths on mushrooms. I think the only like death from like LSD or mushrooms is like there are some people that have jumped out of windows like if you're not
tripping
careful with it. And then there's like an elephant that died because they had to like
an elephant
that they dosed with LSD. I don't know who they is, like researchers, but
why does that seem like a safe thing to do?
I know. Don't give a massive animal LSD and think it's gonna go fine. But they like had to shoot it with tranquilizers to bring it down. I think the tranquilizers like mixed with the so like that's how it died. So that's like the only deaths that have ever been.
Well, you can get. I don't like LSD. You can get permafried though. Like that's terrifying. We talked about this on the podcast before, but that's like terrifying. Permafried. I would not want to be permanently fried, man.
Do you mean like just the people that have done it way too much, and you see them, you're like, oh, you've been
out
that are
all the time. Yeah,
that's there's some of those guys are.
But you could get that from like one hit, like because it's a spinal tap drug, right? Like,
oh no, that's an urban legend. It doesn't stay in your system at all. Past,
really?
Yeah, because I mean, think of any chemical. Yeah, no chemical operates. Every chemical has a half-life that goes away.
But some of them have like a longer half-life. So is it not just like a... Yeah.
LSD is not
right.
not like uranium.
That's all I was thinking. I was like, it's uranium, man. Like, anything that makes you do that is not good for you.
Yeah, which is also great because there's all these stories that we were brought up with that were like, oh, this is what this, and it's like none of that stuff really.
That's fair because that's true. Like weed. Everybody thought weed was like a terrible thing.
For sure.
Damn.
So okay. Cocktail would be
so
this would be I would have like mushrooms in there. I kind of like, you know, a little bit of that, like I like that CBD 50-50 CBD THC edibles, maybe some of that in there, and then I don't know, a little bit of scotch, maybe a little bit
like, we'll add some alcohol, I guess. Like, this is an alcohol podcast, we'll throw in just a drop.
So I'm a fan of scotch. I'm Scottish, so that's kind of my dad and my grandpa and I would always drink like scotch at family get-togethers. So I'm like, all right, that has some, you know, background that I like that. So we'll put that in there.
Okay, yeah. I'm a fan of. What's your favorite scotch? I'm a big fan of scotch. I enjoy scotch.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I love like a little bit lighter, sweeter scotch, like the Tobermory and Oban and like Cardew, Dalwhinnie. I like those kind of one. If it gets a little smoky, I have trouble with it.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of like the smoky scotches. I like the sweeter stuff as well. Like that. Oh man, I can't even remember what it was, but it was like that very peat mossy, like, so like
a Talisker or like a Lafroig, like just that.
Not a fan.
Lafroig is like the most I'll go when it's like it kind of tastes like a campfire a little bit, and you're like, I don't know.
Yum.
I need to add a lot of ice to this.
All right, man. What would you call the drink though? What would it be called?
Ooh, the mushroom Maddie, I suppose.
The mushroom
that has to be
Maddie. That is very catchy, man.
Maybe
I like
you'll see it coming in 5
like,
years. We'll open the bar.
Be your bar,
yeah.
The mushroom Maddie. That's dope. I feel like that's a great like slogan. Also, I feel like you should have merch that says mushroom Maddie.
Yeah, like the blue meth in Breaking Bad. Like it's just a special strain for everyone.
Man. Your first comedy album should be titled Mushroom Maddie. That's not
genius. Bad. I need to start doing some mushroom material. That's what I need to do.
You don't have mushroom material?
I have like one joke and that's it. I know.
You definitely should, man. You just enlightened me. So you turned my world around. I kind of want to try mushrooms because I feel like it's safer than LSD because I was so terrified of LSD because of the fucking permafried thing,
right?
Which is apparently a lie.
Yeah.
But like mushrooms, I've never heard anything bad. People love mushrooms.
That's a plant. It's like how bad could it be?
Cocaine is a plant. It's derived from a plant.
But it's like a coca leaf. If you just gnaw on a coca leaf, that's like apparently not bad.
It's mild.
Yeah.
It's mild.
Yeah, it's not just.
But that's also like what like children child soldiers do. They like gnaw on the coca leaves. And they're totally fine with killing people.
It's probably the best part of their day, though, if you think about it. It's probably... They're like, oh, we got to do so much killing at 4 p.m.
Just need a nice cold beer and a cocoa leaf. Oh, man. All right. The last part of the podcast. This is I also didn't tell you, it's normally a short podcast, like 20 to 30 minutes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
The last part, your craziest, your most wild night on. You can actually do 2 if you want to because you're a fan of the psychedelics. If you've had like a crazy psychedelic night, but then also just like a crazy drunken night. So, you feel free to share as much as you want to. Don't overshare. Don't feel like you have to.
It will be on the internet. So
yeah, exactly.
Be mindful of that. I get. There's a lot of them. I think the drunken night out is probably more entertaining of a story because I feel like psychedelic ones are always just like, and then I thought the wall was a banana, and you're like, all right, it's
great visuals though.
No one wants to hear them, but so I think drunken story. I don't know if you have the same thing, but for me, like I can never call it a night. Like I always need someone to tell me the night is done, or like a bartender to be like, "You're done."
You're done, yeah.
I'm like always the one who's just like, "No, we're gonna keep this going." Like
keep
it's
going,
always,
baby.
Yeah. So that's my issue with drinking. So I was like in college, that was a problem where like it was like I think junior year, I lived in a house that was with like 5 other guys in like a Cracker Box house, and like we had all moved in and been drinking like all welcome week, just like 6 straight days of just drinking the whole time, you know? And it was that last day, and I'm like, one last day, like, here we go. We're going hard. Let's do this. And everyone's like, no, we are done. Like, we need to stop. But I did not. Yeah, I was just like, no, I'm going out. So I like went out to just find some random party, I guess, and just like wander the campus, and which like oddly worked enough times. I was like, you know, at big party schools, I think it kind of worked a fair amount. But I don't know. I was wearing cargo shorts and just like put like 7 Coors Lights in my cargo shorts, and then just had like another Road one in my hand that was like unopened. You know, just great, you know, party attire for sure. And so I'm just stumbling through and like don't even make it a block before some guy like just grabs me by the collar. It's like ripped dude in like t-shirt and jeans. I'm like, what is going on here? And he's like, you know, how old are you, kid? And he like takes his badge out and shows. I'm like, oh god damn! Like
that's what I was thinking. I was like, dude, you can't.
Yeah, you
walk
can't
around with all those beers on you.
No.
Yeah. I'm like, are you a freshman? Like, what is?
Yeah, it'd be like, was not of age. And he's like, you know, instantly he's like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 21. I just don't have ID on me. You know, I'm just like going home, just like immediately start lying. And he's like, you know, we gotta get down your name. So he's like, what's your name? And I'm like, gosh, shit. Like, I'm a broke college kid. Like, I can't pay for like a drinking ticket, and I'm freaking out. And I'm just like, yeah, it's Matt MacLean, I guess. You know, I'm screwed here. And then so he starts like writing it down.
Well, you gave him your real name?
I gave him like I just folded instantly. I'm just like, all right, I guess it's over.
Damn it, he's asking questions. Time to fold.
Yeah, I can't lie one more time. I guess I'm just gonna go right for it. And then I'm like looking around, and then like this packed sidewalk of like campus starts like kind of clearing out. There's like a path starts like clearing out, and I'm like, oh, this is like a sign from God. I am meant to not get this drinking ticket. And so he's like, all right, what's your middle name? He's like writing down my name, and he's like staring at his notepad, and I'm just like, Robert, and just throw down that beer I was holding like it was gonna be a diversion.
Like it's a smoke grenade, smoke bomb.
Yeah, like it's gonna be like, oh, where'd he go? You know, like.
No, he's just gonna be pissed off that you blasted beer all over him.
just completely fizzled out, and he was like, "What?" And then I like take off. I'm like, "Shit, that didn't work."
That's hilarious.
And just start running, and then like people start seeing what's happening, and like everyone starts cheering and like clapping. They're like, "Oh hell yeah, well, this is hilarious that this kid is running." Cop is not amused at all. Like Cop is furious, and like I'm looking back at him, and he's just like, he sees me looking back, and he's just like, "Are you serious, kid? Are you fucking serious right now?" And I'm like, which is pretty insane, because I'm like running. Well, I have boat shoes on too. I have like boat shoes, cargo shorts filled with beer,
yeah,
filled with swinging around, and like, you know, just plastered too at the same time. And but I'm just like, you know, this guy is pissed already, so I just turn around and I'm just like, yeah, I'm fucking serious. And then and then it like really pissed him off. Just to, yeah, I don't know, just to make it worse somehow.
You're just like, yeah, I'm serious. Fuck you, man.
Fuck you, pig. And then and then I'm like, oh, this is on now. Like he is.
Oh, he's definitely gonna chase you. Like before, he might not have chased you, but now he's gonna chase you.
Yeah, now he's like, this is on, buddy. And then I like jump down this flight of stairs, and then like the beers are still like, you know, swinging around, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta like, you know, lighten the load somehow. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna. My idea is I start like flinging them behind me, you know, like fucking white trash Mario Kart, just like banana. Here we go. I'm just like, Mamma Mia. And which didn't. I don't think it worked. Like I think if anything, it just like fueled him up and like pissed him off even more. Like throwing spinach cans.
The Hulk right now.
Yeah. He's just like hulking up, like on the Coors Lights coming at him, just like eating him for breakfast. And so I'm like, okay, shit, he's still hot on me. I got rid of the beer at least so I can like start gaining some ground. And I'm like going around, and I like cross this other busy street, and I'm like looking behind me, and I kind of like got a little bit of ground on him. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm outpacing this guy, and then I like turn back around, and I'm crossing the street, and this taxi is coming like right for me, and it's like it's slamming on its brakes, and like I can't get out of the way, and it just like decks me. It like spread eagle on the hood of this taxi, And I'm freaking out, and I'm just like face to face with the guy, and he's like freaking out, like still braking. And then I like look back at the cop, and he's just like, "Oh shit!" He's like pauses the chase, which I like. It's like a good like game respect game. Like we'll give you a minute.
Like, hey, I'll let you gather yourself real quick, but it's on once you get out.
Yeah, once you collect yourself. So he like kind of stops, and then I like and so I'm like trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna do some real cool maneuver, and I like just slid off the hood, like just did this like Burt Reynolds style like slide off, and like got to my feet and like full sprint. And I thought it was like the most badass thing, when it probably was just like I probably just got like launched from the taxi and just like somehow landed on my feet, and like got through, and then like ran down for a little bit more. And then I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm like, he's not going to catch me after that. And then instantly face plant on the asphalt. Jeez. And like, I thought he got me or something, because I'm like scrambling up. I lost my shoes. I'm just bleeding everywhere.
It's like now. Will Smith when he got hit by the car in The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, yes. Shit everywhere, yeah. And then I'm scrambling up, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. Maybe he didn't get me, and I'm still just sprinting. And now I'm just like, really going like for my life. I'm like, okay, this is an endurance game now. Like, cops can't run forever. Like, I've seen Superbad. I know. I just got to keep going. And I end up just like keep running for a while, and then like circle around this house for a bit, and I like get in this dugout basement window well and start trying to like calm myself down, and I'm just like bleeding everywhere.
Jeez.
And this was like in the flip phone era, so I'm like, I call my roommate to try to like come find me somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm talking to him on the phone. I'm just like, like, Andrew, I'm running from the cops. I'm bleeding out. Like, you gotta come find me. Like, Jesus. Code red. And he's just like, this isn't happening. Like, no, you're not. And just
you're a fucking moron.
You're a moron. I'm hanging up now. And I'm like, shit, I gotta stop fucking with Andrew so he believes me when I'm in trouble. And then eventually like end up like figure out where a main road was, and like hobbled home after that. And then like my favorite part of this is I walk into this house. So I know like one guy in this house. I moved in with like a bunch of random dudes. Yeah. And one of the guys that just moved in like that afternoon I hadn't met yet.
Is it too late to get my money back?
So I'm just like covered in blood in cargo shorts. I like immediately go to the bathroom and like get in the shower fully clothed, and I'm just like screaming and like picking gravel out of my feet and like freaking out. I'm just like, I'm like, God, why? Like, and I'm freaking out. This cop's gonna come find me because I gave him my real name.
You gave him your middle name.
Yeah, my middle name. Like, he's gonna find. I'm like, he's gonna kill me. He's free. And then this guy who just moved in like walks in the bathroom and like sees this going on. I'm just like covered in blood, and he tells me I just like looked around at him like I had just like killed a hooker and was not processing it well. Like.
That's hilarious.
Like not, and then here's the best part about living with dudes: is he sees that and just goes to his room and goes to sleep. Like no questions asked. Just like,
not my problem.
Yeah, we'll figure this out in the morning. I'm sure there's an explanation.
I'm not even sure if that guy lives here. But
well, is this our fourth roommate or is this just some homeless guy? I don't know.
Oh man, that's fucking hilarious.
So that was probably the worst night of drinking, or best night. I don't really know.
That's a great story. So like it worked out for something, man.
Yeah, no ticket. The cop never found me somehow. I don't know. I'm still kind of afraid that if I go to Michigan, maybe
you should go back and see if you can find that cop, because that would be hilarious to like recap that story with him.
Oh my God, can you imagine that? Just be like, do you remember this night? He's like, yeah, I remember your ass getting laid out by that taxi.
That's probably why he hasn't given you a ticket. He was like, dude's been through enough.
That's what I think happened. Like, I think he probably stopped chasing me after the taxi. I was just running blind.
This guy's an idiot.
Yeah, this guy.
Like, even if I do catch him, he's on PCP. He's gonna fight me.
Yeah, right. This guy's on some other shit besides booze.
Oh fuck, man. That's a first. Nobody's ever gotten hit by a car on this podcast. So
oh hell yeah. There we go.
That's a fucking first.
Breaking ground.
Oh fuck, man. One more time, let the people know where they can find you on social media, shows coming up, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, at Good One Maddie on social media, goodonematty.com. Check out the site for upcoming shows, and go to Logan Square Improv every Friday.
Okay. All right. This has been a Drunken Night Out. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Ken.